Yeah, come through.
Live from the Connections Studio Suites, it's Connections. Connections is relationship radio.
Oh, we got a big old show for you tonight. Lots of people, lots of players, most definitely. I played on words there, I did. It's Melissa Fox, and with me tonight, the crew from PlaTy Multimedia and publishing team. We got Tyrell Player. Go ahead and give us a wave and hello. You say hi. It's okay.
How y'all doing?
We're doing good. Elizabeth Johnson, hello.
Hello, how y'all doing?
All right. Alan Little, how you doing?
You guys doing?
All righty then.
Well.
James Scales.
How you doing?
And doing fine. Andrika Ruiz.
Hi there.
Hey, and last but not least, look who made it, Paul Landry.
How you doing?
I am doing fine. So let's see. We got Tyrell Player. Now, he's the CEO. He's also an author of PlaTy Multimedia and Publishing. So tell us, Ty, a little bit about your mission statement and what PlaTy Multimedia and Publishing is all about.
Mission statement is promoting literacy one community at a time. PlaTy Multimedia is all about giving authors that normally was self-published an opportunity to be part of a team to get their work out globally. You know, I self-published in 2019. It was kind of hard. So that's what I wanted to do. I want to get people that I saw that put a book out before and maybe they struggled, didn't have the right promotion, right marketing, and they have a passion for writing. I want to get people that really have a passion for writing an opportunity without having to go to a major, and we're going to become a major. So that was my thing when I put PlaTy Multimedia together.
That sounds really good. Now, in charge of marketing, the director of marketing, also an author, is Elizabeth Johnson. Now, Elizabeth and I have spoken before on the Florida Roundtable, where she was pimping a book called Just Like My Dad, which is a great book. Elizabeth, how did you come together with Tyrell Player and decide that you wanted to direct marketing for this company?
It was very interesting how I met Tyrell. I met Tyrell through my brother, and we decided to write the book Just Like My Dad, which you've seen and we talked about. And from that moment on, he told me that I needed to be a part of the team, a part of the company, which made me be a part of marketing the books for PlaTy Multimedia.
What is your what do you do when you market these books? How do you help people get known and get noticed?
Get known as far as getting their work out. Once they get their book out and once they introduce the title, we start right then. We try to find different avenues, different ways to get the book out into the community, into different bookstores, out in the community overall. As far as marketing, my assistant marketing director, he helps me as far as getting the book out. We do a lot of research and making sure that the book has different avenues of making an impact on whoever is geared to, the children, young adults, parents. So we make sure that we do a lot of research before we get the book out to the community.
Perfect. You just referenced your assistant director of marketing. That's Paul, late to the party Landry. Hi, Paul. How you doing? You were out there selling the books, weren't you? Getting a little on the ground, little foots on the ground, kind of grassroots marketing, and that's why you were late to the show.
It's good because we help each other, you know, and sometimes you got to go into places when you're marketing, you have to go into places that are not the norm. You know, the norm is TV, social media, and newspapers, but sometimes you have to go to the playground. Sometimes you have to go to schools and just talk to students outside of the school setting when they're getting out from school or when they're going to different school functions, and you talk to them. You put them on the side, you let them know, hey, look, we have these books that could be of interest. And then you give them your card and they may partake in it, and that starts the process.
That's not a bad deal. Now, James Scales is with us as well. He's a graphic designer. I don't know if have I seen some of your work yet, James?
Not at the moment. I did do our good friend Alan's book, his Beneath the Surface of the Skin.
Okay.
So I did his book.
So you did that one. We're going to talk
yes,
to
I
Alan.
do. Right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So pretty much, I'm sorry. So we pretty much handled all of the graphics, most of the graphics, as far as marketing materials, book covers. So just expounding on what Elizabeth provided, you know, helping promote the book. I also handled the graphics, whatever, like I said, marketing material that author needs. So I handle that aspect. So, and also if we want to handle any commercials or any, like I said, web graphics or anything of that matter. So those things I, contribute to the team as far as, help promote an author.
Now, you're a
Sure
graphic artist. You draw, or is it all computer generated? How do you find your muse?
All computer generated. I pretty much use Adobe software to create images, create logos, create, like, again, book covers, things of that matter. So mostly computer generated.
So we are talking with PlaTy Multimedia and Publishing. The team is here. Tyrell Player, Elizabeth Johnson. We're talking with James Scales right now. Paul Landry. We got Andrika Ruiz. Now, you also are an audiobook narrator and an author. Is that right, Andrika?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me hear
correct.
some. Let me hear. Throw a line at me. I want to hear these audiobooks because I know it is very tough to do audiobooks. You got to stay in a certain scope. You got to have a certain, presentation. So go ahead and just flow some for me. You can do it.
What kind of? How about I'll just talk a little
There
bit.
you go. I knew if I could put her on the spot, she'd come around. Okay, fine. So tell me about this book that you had that's coming. It's a Christmas series, right?
Yes, it's a Christmas story. It's going to be a series about a family who has spiritual journeys and spiritual battles. So the one that's coming out in November is about a family that is coming together for Christmas. They're all having a really good time, except for our main character, who is Justin Montalvo. And he is kind of bored, and he's just not excited about his family at all. And, he has an adventure where he comes to have an encounter with an angel, and he goes into a spiritual city, and God has placed a gift for him in the middle of this battlefield, and he has to learn how to fight to get his gift.
This is strong. This is really strong. I like that. And again, we're talking about PlaTy Multimedia. You can get a hold of them. Is it PlaTyMM.com? Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
I got it right. I'm never sure.
PlaTym.com.
Right. So who haven't we spoken to? Alan?
Yes.
Alan, let me see you. So, Alan, you are the talent acquisition man, huh? How do you find, what is it? What do you do? You just read, rocking around. You're like, you look like you can write a book. No. How do you find these people?
I kind of think that the rest of these guys on the screen just leave me for the dirty work. I call it the dirty work, but it's just that we just look over and do a little reading, and when people come in and send in, their manuscripts and stuff, I go over them and kind of dictate with the team whether I feel like it'll be a go but I don't do it for myself. I make sure that I let all those guys come in and we do it as a team, and we just go from there.
Wow. Okay, Ty, I got a question for you. Tyrell Player is the man. He's the guy that had the vision to put this all together. Now, I'm not asking the obvious, but is this more of a Black-owned business? And is that where you see yourself helping to educate African-American children and all of that stuff, or am I just totally off base here?
No, you're owned to a certain extent, because I don't want it just to be a Black-owned.
No, I don't want that either. I don't
want a major publishing company.
There we go.
Based on what we do, the way we present ourselves is top notch, and that's one of the key things that you have to do when you're going into a business. It's the way you present yourself before they put you as a Black-owned or urban or anything like that. We don't want a title. We give our own self a title.
There you go.
So what we do is really just it's not like she's writing a Christian book. Elizabeth is a baker, and she's a children author. Me, I write in all genres. My next book is probably gonna be a serial killer novel.
Nice.
So we touch bases on every genre. So it's not where we could pigeonhole and say, okay, it's just for Black. Perfect. But one thing we do, we go to communities and we promote literacy, and we do try and touch our people, because those are the ones that are behind. So that's where you're on point at, because if we don't start getting them to understand literacy, and not just in reading books, but literacy as in understanding who you are, understanding your environment, and learning how to grow. That's what we try and teach and be impactful in that way. And another thing I wanted to say, because you asked something earlier about marketing. Yep. Elizabeth has all of us as marketers. We are taught to promote each other and work as a unit, as a team. And then not only that, we have a timeline of setting, when we get an author, we set them up the right way to where their social media is right, their all their emails, everything that should be done before you get a book out, to where someone knows who you are, where to find you. That's what we try and do. That's what we take away from the normal self-publishing author. That's how we try and help them. Because self-publishing, you don't know to do a lot of that stuff.
We're going to take a quick break. We are talking with PlaTy Multimedia and Publishing Team, and we will not pigeonhole them. But I got to ask the questions that people are asking, and you got to give the answers so we get it out there straight. We'll be right back. You're listening to Connections. It's relationship radio with a twist, and tonight we're building it with the folks at PlaTy Media.
Connections is relationship radio.
Yeah, I didn't mean to put you off or anything. I just wanted to ask that because all I see is people of color, and I'm this, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I got to ask because I know that people out there want to know, but I loved your answer. It was perfect because you are not pigeonholed. These topics, these books, they go across every barrier. Elizabeth's in particular. I liked that one a lot, and I handed it off to my little nephews, and they liked it a lot. All right, stand by. Here we go. Second segment.
This is Connections.
That was awesome up to a point, and then it stopped becoming awesome. Then it was horrible, and then it was back to awesome.
That's about right.
We get splattered with blood. That's an honor.
All right, it's pretty obvious that I'm not good at this, but just for the record, it's because I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Welcome back. It is Connections. We do this for you Tuesday nights on the social media, Thursday nights on the radio, and all over the podcast world at iHeartMedia. Check out the app and look for Connections Relationship Radio. I'm Melissa Fox. With me tonight, I've got Tyrell Player, I've got Elizabeth Johnson, Alan Little, Paul Landry, James Scales, and Andrika Ruiz. They are all part of the PlaTy Multimedia and Publishing team. Right now, I was talking with Tyrell. We're making sure that you didn't think this was just some sort of a niched group. This is a group of people who want to help. Well, basically, everybody who's a good author out there get the marketing and get the promotion that they need and get seen, get read. Am I right?
Yes.
I love when people nod. It's radio.
Yes.
They're all nodding.
Use our words.
Use your words, people. All right. So, hey, Alan, I'm going to talk to Alan for a second because I haven't talked too much to him so far. Talent acquisition. Let's see if we've got a better signal with him. Alan, you had a book came out last December, Beneath the Surface of the Skin. Can you tell us a little bit about that book and how it was received?
Beneath the Surface of the Skin it started out with it's a young lady who's a fiery attorney, and she did everything that she could do to get to the top. She broke rules and everything like that. She was beautiful beyond standards, and once she lost, she ended up losing a case against a former classmate of hers, and it sent her into a manic depression, eating disorder and everything, and she gained weight, and she lost confidence, and her self-esteem was low and everything like that. And she met a guy who pulled her out of it, and it was a white guy. It's an interracial relationship, and their families came from two different cultures, but they built a family together. And it took a young kid, they had a child, and it took a young kid who had a sickness and an illness that helped his grandfather with a blood transfusion, and they came together that way. And then they just found love.
I like it.
Something that was hate.
That's good. He's kind of cutting a little bit in and out, but I think we got the gist of that one. Anyone want to help him out there? Tyrell. Who is he? Is he having a conversation with somebody else?
Yes.
Are you even on the show with us right now?
I can't hear you.
It's okay. We're losing a little bandwidth here between everybody, which is weird because I'm at a multi-million-dollar radio station right here. Okay, so what other books you guys got coming out before the year is over? I mean, we're only in, May now, yeah. So you got a lot.
Yeah, awesome lineup coming up. The plan is to get Andrika's book is coming out. Alan's book should be coming out before that. Country Boy 1 and 2 is in the process of the cover development. Everything has been edited, so his book should be out, I think, probably about August. Hopefully, we'll start the promotion on that next month for his book. And then I have a couple of books that might come out. I definitely want the serial killer book come out. I have another book called Illusions. But the thing is, we don't want to oversaturate it, even though these are different genres. We like to promote each other and promote our stuff the right way. And being fortunate that we're a team. We're not, most of the people that you see in front of you, they came in as authors, but I saw more potential and talent into them and tried to maximize it. So that's how they became a part of PlaTy. So we take our time in a sense and making sure everything's straight. So when we start bringing others in that are signed, we want to make sure they're on point as well. So we plan on having at least 4 more releases before the year, but it might turn out to 2. We know Andrika's and Allen's are coming out. Mine, it might be January or something like that. There's no rush to really saturate everything because we want to do it the right way.
I love it. So when he assigned the roles to you, and again, anyone can jump in, when he said, you know what, I see you as director of marketing, Elizabeth, were you like, what? Are you crazy? Or did you just say, oh yeah, I've been dying to do this? Did you have any fortitude that I'm going to do this? What do you think, Elizabeth?
No, I didn't think I would be able to do it, but I'm doing it now. With doing the marketing just like my dad and marketing the other books, it just comes as a natural. So I do the same thing I do for all the books, market them. When I sell one, I try to sell them all. So I do that when I sell the books anywhere I go, pop-up shops, gas stations, everybody needs a book. Everybody deserves to know what PlaTy Multimedia is doing. So I try to market anywhere I go.
That reminds me of back in the day when, we had our tapes. We had our mixtapes, and they'd be in the trunk of the car, and we'd be selling them out of the car all the time. You like my music? This is what I did, and you hand it out. You're doing the same thing with the book. You reach a lot of people that way, and that's awesome. Now, I want you to explain your book a little bit because, frankly, not everyone that listens to the Florida Roundtable catches the Connection Show and vice versa. And I thought that your book was a very, very good and the topic, it's very important as well. Just Like My Dad. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, this is the cover of Just Like My Dad, which is an amazing book. As you said, we talked about the book on the roundtable, and it reached a lot of people. Just Like My Dad has a lot of teaching points in there. It starts off with the Coach Carl, and four children who are having difficulties in their life. And I can talk about Miriam, who is one of the characters in there that I created. Miriam is a young girl who loves to play chess. She's left-handed, and her dad loves to play chess with her, but she doesn't understand why dad has to go over the road as a truck driver and go away. So mom is left there to explain that. And when you talk about the different kids and what they're going through in their life, how many parents are left to explain what dad's doing, or what dad has to do, or he's not home. So with this book, the teaching points are, we want it to start as a conversation at home and spread abroad. So with Just Like My Dad, we're doing that, where we're going into the homes, and not only into the homes, into the school system as well. So getting the book into the schools, allowing the teachers to, teach it in the school system, and then bringing it back and forth to the parents and opening up the conversation to where it's a global thing.
Have you run into any difficulties getting the schools to embrace the work?
No. As a matter of fact, Just Like My Dad has really been an eye-opener for the school system, also the mayors in different states, where we've already been to 5 different states with the book, and also got a proclamation for Just Like My Dad. So Just Like My Dad is nearly in 8 schools right now, that has 8 schools that is teaching the book Just Like My Dad, and the teaching points that's in the book as well.
That's fantastic. Now, is everybody on board to help? Are you just doing this grassroots yourself, or is it just a real team effort from PlaTy Multimedia, or is this all Elizabeth Johnson?
No, this is a whole team effort. I have with Paul, he's calling the different schools, and everybody's working as a team. Not only is Just Like My Dad just a book, we also have a curriculum. Andrika, you wanted her to do a part of the audiobook. She did the audiobook for Just Like My Dad.
There you go.
It has, it's also available in Spanish version. So we're wanting to reach a whole community with Just Like My Dad, not just locally, not just in our city or area, but globally and internationally.
Well, it is a really good book, and I'm sure the rest of them, although I have not had a chance to peek at the rest of y'all's work, I mean, if it's anything like Elizabeth's putting out there, yeah, we got some good stuff coming. Now, Enrica, the last name's Ruiz. Do you speak Spanish or no?
No, I do not.
Yeah, most people I know with a last name that looks Spanish or Hispanic, they're like, nah, not me. But you guys are putting out a Spanish version of this book, which is great, because I know I mentioned that we need to reach as many people of color as possible, as many people who are maybe underserved in these Title I schools or wherever. And you brought it to life. You brought the words to life from the paper. So how did that feel?
That was great. It was really fun to put some voices and, you know, some expressions to those words. It's a really great book, and there's just a lot to it. It's complex, and it was fun to perform it.
It sounds like. Now, you made up different voices for the different characters. You didn't just read it, you know, like in your straight voice, and then, you know, you really worked with it, didn't you?
We had voices in there.
Did Elizabeth help you out
with it?
Did Elizabeth help you out? Say, oh, no, that's not right. That's not what I'm looking for from Miriam, or none of that.
She's gonna win an award for this book.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's gonna win an award for narrating.
I think you should all win awards, honestly. I know Elizabeth's already gotten a few, and you guys have some accolades coming. We're going to take a quick break. We are hanging out right now with PlaTy Multimedia and Publishing Team. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what's next for these folks. This is Connections, Relationship Radio with a twist.
Connections is Relationship Radio.
We now join America's most popular show, already in progress.
Does anybody know what the hell is going on?
2 words. Crotchless panties.
What? No, that's not what's going on. Welcome back to Connections. Melissa Fox, along with a whole crew of very talented people, authors and designers and marketing people and talented. Oh my goodness, it's just fantastic. I got Tyrell Player. He's on the screen right now. He's the CEO of PlaTy Multimedia and Publishing. Elizabeth Johnson, she's the director of marketing and an author as well. Well, they're all pretty much authors. Alan Little, he is a talent acquisition man and an author. We got Paul Landry. Now, Paul, you don't write? Paul,
yes, I do write.
Yeah.
And it's in the process. It's a slow process. I mean, actually, when I joined the company gave me the incentive to reach back for that creative edge and bring it back.
I love how you talk.
That if you have it, don't put it up and hide it. Let it out.
I love how he talks. Paul, I don't know where you. You're not from Florida. Where are you from?
No, I'm from Louisiana. I'm actually from New Orleans.
That is. I knew it was something. I could tell there's a little bit of spark in there. So you are actually, what kind of book are you putting together? Come on.
I'm putting together 2 projects. One is a book of poetry, but in between the poetry, there's going to have a story that connects them all together. And then me and my wife have written articles for the Author's Porch on marriage. So we took that being published as a sign and say, maybe me and my wife need to put together a book on marriage and just relationships and how to get that foundation and keep it solid and build it up instead of tearing it down. You know, you watch social media these days and it'll tear marriage up before it puts one together. So
most definitely,
you know, we just figure that we can maybe enlighten somebody in the world. Somebody may be going through something and don't know how to handle it. And maybe they can read what we put out and figure, hey, maybe instead of quitting, I need to give this a try. Maybe I could try this.
You know, you're right about that. You know, that's one thing I have seen before, Paul. And that is the same idea. It's like, I've never seen so many people just give it up, you know? I mean, this marriage is a business. You got to work at it. You don't just, it ain't working. So I like the way you think. I do. Enrica, now you are going to narrate this book about marriage, are you?
I hope to.
Okay. I'm just wondering because I want.
She will.
She will. Look at Ty's already got it penciled in. Yeah, she's got this. So, James, what kind of?
This is a solid team right here.
It really is. But the thing is, you've been on the sick leave, Ty. You've been sick,
yes.
and now so you haven't.
And Elizabeth had held things down. Elizabeth assumed the role of CEO in my absence, and she's Paul. All of them. those guys have been handling business. I look at the text messages, the emails. One thing that we pride ourselves on when I built this company is that we meet every Tuesday night consistently for the last however long we've been in business. And that's something that we do. We come together not only just to check on each other, but put our ideas and what transpired this week when it comes to business and what we're doing moving forward. So it's always constant communication where we don't get stagnant. We try and stay innovative. We want to know in your area what the research, for instance, James, he's talking about graphic design or photography or something like that he heard. Andrika with the audio. Everybody is trying to maximize their potential when it comes to the company, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah,
it's always interesting because everybody wants to win in the same way as a team.
How
so
long?
You're never going to hear us say employees. You're never going to hear us say fans.
Right.
We have supporters, and we're a team.
I love that. How long have y'all been a team?
I can't hear you.
How long have y'all been together as a team?
Over about a year and a half. About a year and a half.
So it sounds like it's really solidified.
Me and James is probably the longest tenure. I've been knowing Alan the longest. Me and Alan, we go back probably maybe 10 or 12 years, something like that. James has been a friend and a business associate probably the longest, maybe over 2.5 years, 3 years, something like that. And Paul, I've been knowing Paul for a while. So like, it's just established relationships. Like That's why I try and look. And speaking of what Paul said about poetry, we plan on doing that. I want unsigned writers to submit their poetry and give people a chance to be published in that sense.
And where would they send that? Where, if people listening are like, hey, this sounds like something I might be involved, I want to be involved with.
Yeah, be interested. You're gonna be able to submit your poetry, and if you select it, then you will be signed, and we'll see what we do. But it'll definitely be out there. And that's great promotion on the sense, because you never know, we might sign somebody from New York and they're promoting in New York, but you got to have some good poetry, because if you're part of PlaTy Mutimedia, work definitely has to be
upper echelon. Yeah, I got you. So if you wanted to get more information, they could just go to PlaTyMM.com. That's PlaTyMM.com, and they can get hold of you that way or contact you off the website, I would hope.
Yes.
That would work.
You get a lot of information on that website.
All right, so tell me about the direction of the company. What's next? More people, or is this is it, and we're just going to stay here?
No, what's next for the company? We want to get the people that was here. So, like everybody that's here as authors, we have several books. So we want to actually make sure we have what we want to put out, as far as our established authors that been here since the beginning. Get that stuff solidified, establish them as authors before we start taking in a lot of other people. Although we have started taking work and reviewing different things, we want to make sure we have our cast solid and people can see that. When they see on the outside that the people that are already signed are doing good and being represented well, then we can start getting the right people to submit the right kind of work.
I like it. I like it a lot. Got another quick question out there, though, and it just went right in my head. Oh, it's going to come back. I feel it. Hold on. You said direction of the company, and I asked you about these grassroots. This is the ground level right here, but y'all are going to build off of that, and I love it. Yes. I got to tell you, there's one thing I'm wondering. Funding. Are you out there looking for any funding, any help, any non-profiting? How are you doing this?
That's a good question. That's a good question. One thing I wanted to do when I built this company, I built this financially out of my pocket.
Oh.
And I didn't want to take no business partner that dictate how we want to do this company, because we really are about promoting this. We're really about going into communities. If you look at our website, we go into communities and we really talk. Sometimes we stay 2 days, sometimes longer. We go to the elementary schools. We're really about literacy. And I just happen to find something that I love to do. So I invested in myself. I believe in myself, and I believe at the end when it's all said and done, it's going to pay off royally. So not only do I promote generational wealth, I promote generational thinking. And I might not be the one where we might not all be rich, but we're going to have that thought process of how to build and pass it on to someone else. So that's what we try to do. So the money came out of my pocket, and it's still coming out of my pocket. And funding is cool, but you had to be careful when you're doing that. Someone like nonprofit that really come in, we try and get sponsors. We definitely need sponsors because of what we're doing. And one thing we like Paul and Elizabeth, they're very good at submitting that paperwork to people and telling them what we do. And some people are interested. Some people, they're in different areas. They want to, just I don't know, just hear about it instead of really knowing what's important. And what we do is very important, but we're not begging anyone to be a part of it. That's the thing.
No,
but
no.
We would offer, I mean, we definitely would take people that say, hey, I like what y'all doing, and how can I help? That's definitely something that we're interested in.
Okay, again, so that's
we give back.
Just grassroots, and they give back. So if you're interested in this project that's going on here, I'll call it a project at the moment, and you wanted to help out as a silent partner so that you don't get a chance to run things, but you get a chance to see this group grow and help their community and our community and everybody run. I mean, you've got the right business plan. It looks like it's working so far.
Yes.
And 5 years from now, I want to see about 30 authors. I want to hear PlaTy Mutimedia coming out of everybody's mouth on all the television. That's the goal, right?
Yes, you will. By next year, we should have, outside of what you see now, we should have at least 6 signed solid authors next year. 6 more outside of what you see now. That's the goal. Wow. Out of different genres. I don't care what it is. If they talented, and that's one thing that I want you to and the listeners to know. We don't care about what genre you're writing in. We're not gonna. We don't turn people down. I got turned down because I'm an African American, and they everything that you submit, it's gonna be considered urban. So I was turned down for that. Here, we're gonna read your work. Alan's gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. James gonna get it. Even though he's visual, graphic design. Everybody looks at something, and then we get feedback on it, and we decide what to do with it. So you're given an opportunity here.
Now, do you go to the when you said you've been into high schools and stuff? All of you have. Has anybody found a young writer or two that looks like they could have promise that you'd like to say mentor or anything? Anyone?
Elizabeth?
I have found some that was very interested in writing children's books when I went promoting Just Like My Dad in schools. They wanted to know, we did a Zoom call where children wanted to know what we did as writers, how did we get out there? So there's a lot of children that want to know, and we just got back from New Orleans. The children were very excited about, us being authors and, wanting to talk with us. So it's a lot of traction as far as them wanting to follow in the footsteps.
Andrika, how you doing? You okay there? You
oh yeah.
Just think.
I agree, though. There are so many kids that are interested in writing, and even my own children are interested in putting something out and making their stories come to life. So, writing is a big deal, and it's something that they're going to start doing at a very young age, and they can be successful even at a young age. So.
Wow, that would be neat, though. Say you got a 9-year-old that's published in your troupe,
Melissa, we went to New Orleans to the New Orleans Book Festival, and we talked with 4 and 5-year-olds, and they just draw. They teachers read the book to them, so they had a very good understanding of the characters and how it relates to them and playing chess and stuff like that. But one thing we talked about when we was down there, you have to really pay attention to your child and see what they do, because you might have a child that always drawing on the walls with crayons or something like that. That might be your graphic design, your artist. Yeah. And you have to harp on that and catch their skills early instead of saying, stop knocking their hand down. You just stop Picasso. Yep. So you really had to pay attention to someone's skill set early on. So we do start with the kids, but most of the time since we started doing this, I get a lot of my peers that didn't know I really do this the way we do it, that are interested. I got a story. I always wanted to write, and some of them have a lot of material. So I encourage everybody. I don't care how old, young or old. If you have a story, put it together and see where it goes. Even if you're not a part of PlaTy Mutimedia, put it together.
There you go. We'll be right back. It's Connections, and we are talking with PlaTy Mutimedia and Publishing. The team is in the studio with us, sort of. We'll be right back.
Connections is Relationship Radio. This is Connections.
I know him. He wants to be able to have his cake and not eat me. It. Objection, move to strike.
Welcome back. It's Connections Relationship Radio with a twist. I am Melissa Fox with 2 X's. Please don't disrespect that second X. It's very important. It balances out the whole thing. PlaTy Multimedia and Publishing is with us. Tyrell Player, he's the CEO and author. Elizabeth Johnson, she's like the director of marketing and author, and she was stand-in CEO for quite some time. Got Alan Little, he's talent acquisition and an author. Paul Landry, he's assistant director of marketing and a poet. Yeah, see how I dropped that in there? James Scales, graphic designer, and Andrika Ruiz, audiobook narrator and author. Everybody's got stuff coming out, and you need to go to PlaTyMM.com for more information. Hey, guys, and let me talk to James for a second. James, how you doing there? You okay? I didn't leave you out.
Doing good. What about yourself?
I'm doing all right over here. So when you read, now Tyrell said that y'all read everything that comes in, every one of you. You do too, right? And then you get some sort of a visual in your head, and you're like, oh, I know exactly how this is going to play out with the graphics. Does it come to you that easy?
Right. Yeah. Usually it takes a bit of time. I like to go on walks, not trying to be but just go on walks and visualize how whatever graphic it is, especially for a book cover, how it would be. You can ask Alan. We would consulting and talking about his book cover, and I was just it didn't take too long to come up with a concept, and he definitely enjoyed it. So when I read stuff, or if they want me to come up with a book cover, I just sit there and it comes to me like your favorite song or your favorite dream.
How many 2, 3, 4 mock-ups before you finally get exactly what they're looking for? Or is it just bam, that's it? There it is, number one.
You probably asked Alan. I think it was just one concept, if I'm not mistaken.
Alan,
then
is
of
that
course
true?
took some editing, some tweaking, of course. But
Right.
it upwards to 3 mock-ups, but usually 1 to 3.
Yeah.
It just depends.
So Alan, what'd you think about James's work? You loved it? It was perfect? Was exactly what you were visualizing?
To be young like that, he's very good at his craft, because we did that the first book cover, and like I said, we made one correction and then he blended everything in, and actually he's doing the other 2 now. And I'm talking, he's one of the best.
He's good. James Scales is the graphic designer. Alan Little says, yeah, he's the man. Elizabeth Johnson, I love her because, she is persistent. I'm going to tell you what, as marketing, she's got it going on. She does not quit. It wasn't just me you were calling on. Like, you get making 30, 40, 50 calls a day. I feel like this. Is that right?
Yes, I was calling a lot of people, and when I got connected with you, I've always wanted to be on iHeart. It was the big thing. So when I made that connection, I knew that I was in there some type of way.
Yeah, you did good. You did very well. And bringing everybody along from PlaTy Multimedia is a good call too. So, Andrika, where do you see this company and yourself in 5 years?
Oh God, I just see us just taking off. I know with my books, it's a series. So we've got lots coming out, and Alan's got a series. I mean, like there's a lot coming in. So I am anticipating it to be a great success.
Oh, I love it. I think that sounds great. Now, how are you guys different, though, than another publishing company or a multimedia company out there? What is it that makes you guys stand out a little bit? And anyone can answer. Doesn't have to be Ty just because he's the main guy.
Well, I think what makes us different is, and I can piggyback on, is the teamwork. With us, when we was meeting with you on Tuesday, normally we have our team meeting on Tuesday, and normally we start every meeting off with prayer. And, we're starting off with prayer, we get ourselves settled in. So I think that we're different from anyone else. We're a team, we come together if there's something going on, or if there's a situation, we come together and we discuss it, and then we go and spread ourselves out. But we have to have a foundation before we can spread out and get other people to be a part. So I think that's the main thing, is to have a foundation for us to stand on, and then be able to bring other people on the foundation that's already solid.
And you guys are what we call a flat structure. Like, there's not like a hierarchy, like Ty's like, you got to talk to her. She's in a chain of command. It's just a flat.
We communicate, text, email. It's open door policy. We all cool with each other. We talk and we check on each other in genuine ways. You know, we don't just, it's not all business with us. That's just real. Me and James, we very cool. We hang out. Elizabeth, we talk all the time. Alec, like we really do check on each other and make sure that not just the business, but also your mental health and everything is still on point.
Perfect. Yeah, just a few minutes left here with you all. If you could, let's see, if you could be a tree, what would you know? I'm just kidding. I always ask that stupid questions. But we got a lot of books coming out. You guys have done a wonderful job explaining everything that's going on here. I love the fact that you want to promote literacy on a global scale, no limitations. I like the grassroots foundation that y'all are getting out there, talking to the kids, meeting with the schools and the school boards and the teachers. I liked what Paul was saying about just getting out there on the playgrounds and putting books in hands. I also noticed there were hardcover books. Are these are hardcover books? They're not softcover, or are they both?
Both.
We have hardcover books as well, and it came in quite handy with the COVID. A lot of the schools and the media centers want hardcover books so that when the children come and check them out. And it also came in, like I said, handy with COVID. You can wipe it down and keep it wiped down from the COVID. With the teachers in the classrooms, it's very handy. And a lot of people, the paperback is good, but a lot of people would like the hardcover. So we give them the option of having either or.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Because I know now, again, coming out of pocket, Tyrell, that can be a pretty expensive situation. But I'm just really glad, first of all, that y'all have a plan. Okay. Like, yes, I know many people are like, oh, I just released the book. And I'm like, yeah, where? Oh, it's available on Amazon. Yeah, around 3,000 other people that I could just in one search. That ain't going to work. Right. And there's no preparation, or they're all excited about it. And then, writing the book, that was probably the easiest part about all this. It's getting it into people's hands and getting the word out there. That's very important. And I'm really, really glad to meet you guys. And I hope that everything is going a lot better and further, and that all these books that are coming out get well received, because I think they will. I'm really looking forward to Alan's poetry, really.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yes, but Alan, do you have any poetry off the top? You could just throw some at us or anything? No.
No, I don't do.
You don't do poetry. That's Paul.
A lot of poetry. I leave that to Paul.
That's Paul, the poetry guy.
Liz and the rest of the guys. I don't.
Okay, all right. So Paul, you got some poetry for me?
Not right off the top.
Oh man, y'all got to freestyle that poetry now. Y'all can't get caught on the spot now.
Serious?
You supposed to have that real. You just
slam night.
You got books. You and your wife write books together. We represent PlaTy with the poetry.
I can give you something off the top of my head. Okay. Don't hold it against me.
I won't hold it again.
If it's bad, but let me give you something about PlaTy as a company.
Okay.
We started out as a group of 6. Everybody threw their head in the mix. We took it from that point, and we're moving on. Soon, you're going to hear about us all day long.
Okay, all right, I'll let it go.
Okay, we'll take that. Good job, Paul.
All right, you guys. I got to say thank you so much. Tyrell Player, Elizabeth Johnson, Alan Little, Paul Landry, James Scales, Andrika Ruiz. I'll get it, Andrika. There we go. I'm sorry. Anyway, y'all have been wonderful. People, go out there and buy these books and support PlaTy Multimedia and Publishing.
Yes,
they are doing it, yeah. And maybe, give some money to Ty so he doesn't come out of pocket so much.
Yeah, support us. We do film and everything. We write commercials, treatments, whatever. That's what we do. We maximize our talent.
All right, y'all. Time to say goodbye. So say goodbye. Bye, everybody.
Hey, thank you, Melissa. Great interview, Melissa. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We out of here.
Laughing time is over.
There you have it, boys. Case closed.
You've been listening to Connections. Find tonight's show and replays of our past shows on connectionsshow.com.
That'll work. Hope you guys had fun. I appreciate that very much. All right. Elizabeth, you did this. You set